explained before.
That's why it's very nice to talk to you. We have a lot of,
It's our pleasure to talk to you, 100%. It's our pleasure to talk to you. So we say that we separate, this is a very important thing that we do. We separate the behavior of Muslims from the perfect Islam. We believe Islam is perfect, Muslims are not perfect. I'm not perfect, he's not perfect, no one here, no one is...
to a pub and have a beer.
Yeah, no one,
might be a Muslim,
no one,
it's haram for me.
it's incorrect, yeah.
It's incorrect for me as a Muslim to do that.
So,
but yet I would do it. Exactly, exactly.
So, yeah, 100%. So what?
That's not the point. That's it. The point is what you do at the end. Like
exactly. No, but for example, as you was mentioning about the colonialism, imagine if a Muslim oppresses a non-Muslim. According to our religion, that is wrong. That is he should be punished for that, and he will be punished.
It's also wrong for Christians.
Yeah, 100%. You know about the equality thing that you were saying. For example, the Prophet told us that if support your brother, whether he's oppressed, whether he's the oppressor. The companion said, how can we support our brother when he's oppressing someone else? He said, you stop him from oppressing other people. So how you support him? You stop him from oppressing others, right? The equality is something very well known in Islam. Why? Quran says we have made you into different nations and tribes, so you can get to know one another, right? The best amongst you is the one who's more pious towards God. Not the one with more wealth, not the one who is best handsome, no. The one who is closer to the Creator is the best amongst you. That's our belief. The Prophet, he said in his last ceremony, last ceremony before his death, he gave a ceremony before his death, and there was over 1,000 companions present. He said to them that there is no superiority of a black over a white, of an Arab over a non-Arab. You're all equal. The only superiority is in your faith. The more who has more faith and good actions is better because of his actions, not because of how he was born. And the Prophet said, "An-nisa'u shaqa'iqu rijal." Verily, men are equal to women in general equality. We're equal as well. That's why you see the Quran addressing men and women equally. The believing men, the believing women, the believing the righteous men, the righteous women, right? So in Islam, equality is one of the core fundamental things of Islam, right? But I have a very small question for you now. When it comes to, for example, he said about drinking alcohol. He spoke about drinking alcohol. Where do you bring? Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, sure, no problem.
You said you're agnostic.
Yes.
Elaborate on that. You're obviously not sure. Is that what you mean?
Oh, sorry.
No. That's
I want to know from you.
It's a claim of wisdom.
Agnostic is.
What do you mean when you say you're agnostic?
You believe in something higher? You believe in something higher?
I believe in things. So I'm a science teacher, so that may explain something.
That's good.
That's good.
I think there are a lot of things we don't understand how they are connected together, and it doesn't matter for me what's behind it. I just respect it. If I respect people, I respect nature, I respect everything. I try to act as good as I can with all my beliefs, with all my.
This is coming to the point. It's the same point.
And it doesn't matter how you call that.
Humanism, because
it doesn't matter if you call that.
I know. I get
or whatever. It doesn't matter at all for me.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I understand what you believe.
Things have. It's good if things change to the good, and if you have ideas that prevent that something changes to the good, because you have people, they overpower with an idea other people, like women or like people with another color, another race.
Yes.
Then it's bad. So you have to.
I agree with you 100%.
So I think it doesn't matter if you have the Bible or Quran. For me, you find a lot of good ideas how you can live together.
That's exactly the point that I wanted to deal with, by the way, 100%. But I agree with you. We don't disagree with you. But there is a bit of nuance to it, right? There's a caveat that I want to add in, right? But first, I want to talk about the idea of knowing there's a creator or not, right? We believe the idea is inherent. Inherent means it's already within you, right? No one have introduced or put it within you, but you're already, when you're born, innately, you know that there is something higher than yourself. So we believe. And there is social science done on that. Like Oxford University conducted a study, 57 academics, and they own children from countries, atheistic countries like China and Japan, and they said they have an innate receptivity to the divine. They believe in something higher than themselves. They're born like that, this way, right? When they're getting old, their society changes that idea, but they're born innately knowing that there's something higher than themselves.
So believe in
It's knowledge for me. It's like you know how everything works together. You know that in
you
yourself.
at least agree to
Like,
that? What Muhammad said?
you don't eat 500 grams meat a day when you know how it works.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
you don't spend your money in buying a Lamborghini when you know how it works. You don't. It's not your hobby going to for shopping into Harrods or wherever. When you know how it works together.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You don't buy too much. You don't. You're not bad to other people. You're not bad. You don't harm nature or animals or whatever. If you can do that, you just have to. You just have to have a life.
100%. I agree with you. I agree with you completely. But I know the point I want to make is this, right? Is if it's innate to believe
It's hard to discuss if you already know what we're speaking about. Right? Huh?
It is, yeah. It is, I don't get. What do you mean by that?
Huh?
No, tell me what you mean. Maybe
just go on. You
Okay,
know
yeah, no
already
problem.
what
No, I understand what I mean by saying I understand you. I understand what you're saying is that you want humans to just live a good life. It's not necessarily the scripture that you follow or the God that you believe in, right? This is what you're saying. I get your point. I understand your point, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that there is a bit of a caveat that I want to add in, right? Which is this, right? Which is the question that I was going to ask you before going to.
So you are a community together then? Or
We're all Muslims.
Yeah, of course.
I never met him. I never met him in my life.
I've never seen him.
Just we
let's
believe.
just say it was-
We believe in Islam.
Everyone come in.
I did want to know if
Yeah,
you.
but we're Muslims.
We believe in Islam that Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Verily the believers are brothers. So they're my brothers without meeting them any day, right? That's what we
Pray
believe.
together later.
So we believe,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's-
So that's the Islamic point of view, right? Now, the point I want to add is this. When you say let's do good, right? Or let's avoid bad things. Good and bad are subjective terms, right? How do you determine, you personally, what is good and what is bad?
It depends. That's supposed the point that you mean. If you have if you have an idea of what is good or what is bad, that's 50 years old, and you don't know something about climate change or climate changes or whatever, and you don't think further, and you just do it like you know.
But sorry,
Then I think that's the problem. So it's hard to say what's good or what's bad, but as long human says or interprets like a holy book, whichever it is, like as long human interprets that, and they have the wrong idea about it, because today we know more than 50 years ago, but in fact we didn't know already 50 years ago, 1970, we could accurately calculate what happens today with nature. We did Club of Rome.
do you have an example? Do you have an
Not
example?
accurate, an estimate.
No.
Do you have? Do you have
It's
an?
incredible. Read Club of Rome. I think I don't know if the title in English is The End of Growth.
Okay.
And
Do you have an
really,
example?
They have curves. You can see that.
Do you have an example in your mind?
Yeah, that's an example. Club of Rome, 1970.
Club of Rome.
Club of Rome.
Like this?
Yeah. Club of Rome. No, Club.
Club.
C-L-U-B. Club of Rome.
Okay. The Quran. Yeah.
And they did already. Just read it.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting because if you have people they don't believe in climate change 50 years ago, and they just tell all the people all the time, nothing happens, just live like you know, you have to live good.
Yeah.
And you don't, if an idea can't develop in time, then I think it's a problem. I don't see this with you, because you're open-minded. I think you're free.
Try to be.
Yeah, you're
Try to
free
be.
thinking. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, but there are a lot of people that just use this idea to have status quo. You know, It's the same thing in Christianity or wherever. If people misuses an idea to have status quo, I think that's a problem. If we do together what we do now, that's a good thing. Because maybe you go at home and you see a Club of Rome. What this Swiss science teacher told me, it's a good idea. So
Okay.
I go at home and I prove the evidence.
Yes.
You
Yeah, of
told
course,
me.
of course, 100%.
That's a cool thing,
Yes,
and that
yes.
we just
Yes.
that
You know,
makes development possible.
100%. You know, I have just 2 points on what you said. I don't disagree with you, absolutely. We believe science is a useful instrument, right? We believe it's a useful instrument, but we're not scientific realists. We don't believe science leads you to truth. Because science is everyday changing because it's based on induction.
Science is not good at all.
Okay, okay, you're a scientist, but you're a scientist. Okay, so
That's honorable, honestly.
okay,
No, scientific is interesting. And
Okay.
it's an interesting view to the
sure,
world.
okay,
But
okay, but yeah.
how you use it. It depends. It depends. It's like scientific. Science is like religion. It depends on the people who does that. If you
use
think,
eugenics.
"Oh, I invent another plastic thing that destroys the world in 20 years, so then.
Can I ask you a question on that? I had two questions, right? The first one was that science or studying empirical reality, which you were describing, like the universe, has no relationship. Empirical reality is just the five senses, right? The smelling, the touching, the seeing. I'm saying these things we can touch and we can smell, etc. They don't have a relationship with morality because morality is a metaphysical concept. It's not a physical concept. So I'm saying, right? How do you determine what is metaphysically, morally correct, right or wrong? And that cannot be through the scientific method. It cannot be because it's an empirical, physical method, right? So I'm saying, how do we determine that? Like, for example, the second question was this. When you say climate change is a bad thing, I'll tell you why it's a bad thing.
Yeah, it depends a bit. I agree with you.
You get the point I'm trying to
I think
make.
maybe it's not a point if human extinct or not.
Yeah,
maybe
someone might
that-
believe that.
yeah,
Someone might believe that, yeah?
Maybe that's just the idea
Yes.
Allah or God had for us. Like you have your 2,000 years, you build your highest building, and that's pretty cool. And then you go and we have another like.
We believe as Muslims that we're created, the purpose of us in this life is to be tested. Test, examination, test, yeah?
So, and how many tests we need?
I'll tell you, it's just one test. It's only one test, yeah? A test, that is one test. Why is this life limited? 60 years, 70 years, wherever you live, 20 years, 30 years. It's limited because we believe, that's what we believe. I'm just saying what we believe as Muslims, yeah? We believe it's limited because that is the test of the Creator. All tests have to be limited or they'll never end, right? They have to have a starting and ending point, right? So Islam, Allah created us in this world to test us. He said to us that we will be His representatives in this earth, from what sense that we will apply His laws, moral laws, and we will apply His commandments, right? That's the test. Whether you will apply God's moral rules, do the good that God says is good, and avoid the evil that God said is evil because He's most wise, most knowledgeable, or you would choose to go against God's commands and cause corruption and cause harm and cause pain in the world. That's the test that you live in. That test will end when you die. It's just one test. Whether you choose your desires or you choose the Creator. Choose what you like to do or you choose what God told you is good, which is good for you and good for your society. That's the test of this life. Therefore, we're not really concerned whether the world is going to end or is not going to end. That doesn't mean we should harm the environment. It's two separate things, right? We don't believe we should harm the environment, but we know that it's inevitable that one day will come and this world is going to end, right? So but let's say we believed or someone believes it's a bad thing. My question will be, why is it bad? He will have to give me subjective ideas and his understanding why he believes it's bad.
I think that's just a personal view, like
Subjective thing.
Yeah. If you.
But that's an issue.
I think if your way of living harms a lot of people, even if you're not directly involved in that, it's just like you see here, the land in your country you live in belongs to people since centuries. It's quite hard for other people just to come in and get some land and everything to be equal in the society because you have
Someone has the eternal challenge.
less than other people. And
Sorry about that. Just I'm telling him we are like a book for you.
I think it's very important.
Yes.
You can change something. You can do that. That's just a small part. When you know we destroy environment, we should save that because it's beautiful. And I think that's maybe the part of your test. Do you just take everything you can and without feel what happens, or you and say I've been tested.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
I wasn't very good in this test, but.
But you know the test is what you're saying is very we agree with it completely. A part of Allah's commandments is not individual. It's not just individual commandments, it's individual and societal. From what sense? When Allah commands something and He says you don't do, that's bad for you, also bad for your society. For instance, Islam says don't drink. No drinking is allowed, right? Not any amount of drinking, right? Today we know any amount of alcohol, according to the Daily Mail, which is according to scientific research, any amount of alcohol gives you harm. Right? It's harmful for your body. So first, it is absolutely harmful for you. It also gives you cancer. I'm sure you're aware of these things, right? So it's harmful for you. It's also harmful for your society. In the UK, for example, the Metropolitan Police, 2000. Of course, 100%. Yeah, 100%. So it's harmful for you. Yeah, 100%. So it's harmful for your society and harmful for you. Therefore, Allah prohibits it. Allah will not say, what's your name? Mustafa. Mustafa can drink, but the rest cannot drink. Why? Because Allah has to set an objective law for everyone, right? Because someone can say, I'm a responsible drinker, man, I know what I'm doing. Every alcoholic starts like that. No alcoholic says in the beginning, I'm an alcoholic. He says, I'm a responsible drinker. Then he gets too much into it. Exactly, yeah.
Responsible is a subjective.
So when
very subjective.
So when 100%, I agree with you. It's a good point.
It's very subjective.
It's a good point. So what we're saying is this, right? We're saying that how do we know what is the bad things? This is the point I'm trying to make, right? We know.
You never know.
That's what I'm trying to say. We know. I'm trying to say we know. Can I tell you this? I'll tell you if you agree or disagree.
Nobody can tell you. It's nowhere written, really.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? Tell me you agree or disagree. First, I want to mention a very important thing, right? I've been doing da'wah for a while. I've been doing this engagement with non-Muslims or people who don't believe in Islam for a long time, for a while, yeah? And I've seen one thing about the Quran, scripture, right? Which my advice, I'll give you a copy if you haven't to read it, yeah?
5:30.
5:30. Yeah, no problem. No problem. I'll give you 1 minute. Yeah, no problem. Last minute, then let's make it useful, yeah? Okay. Something I've realized about the Quran. One of the proofs for me why the Quran is from the Creator. Allah says in the Quran, أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. Does He not know the people who created? He created. So Allah is basically saying, I know who I created. Right? I have seen the psychology of people who don't believe in God that Allah describes in the Quran in reality. I'll give you an example. You talk to me about the book and people used to believe things, now we believe different things. That's what the Quran says. When you say to someone, come to Allah and His Messenger, they say, these are ancient fairy tales. Ancient fairy tales, man. These are people used to believe that. We don't believe in these things. Islam is correlating with today's science. If you study the Islamic view or the Quranic view on science, majority of it is correlating with science. But it cannot absolutely correlate with science because it's ever changing, right? But Islam is not, you don't have this Jurassic changes from something completely wrong to something completely right. Like the Quran doesn't say something which is absolutely wrong, like the sun is not a star, for example, or the sun doesn't exist, then you realize the sun exists, right? So the Quran is clear. It's not yeah.
I've read the Quran.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, twice.
Oh, really?
I read the Bible twice.
Okay, so when you read the Quran, my point is this, right? Coming back to what we're saying, because we want to finish, I know you need to go. I was telling you there is objective evidences. I was giving you just one type, right? There's objective evidence to prove that Islam is the truth. Once you prove Islam, when I say the truth, I mean it's revelation from God. So Prophet Muhammad was just a human being with no worship, right? If it was revelation from God to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, then we know for sure it's coming from that higher entity that created the universe. Creating the universe by necessity requires power, requires intelligence, requires independence. It requires it by necessity, because by necessity you require plastic, you require certain things to make the shoes, right? To make the universe, you also need requirements. For example, power. In order for you to create these galaxies, these stars, you need intelligence to set the laws out there. You need to not be restricted by time and space, because time and space continuous started with the Big Bang. You need to be independent in the universe. So these things are a must. And it's not things that we are imposing because we believe in God. They're a reality. Just like it's a reality that you need an intelligent human being to make this, right? You need something intelligent and powerful to create the universe. So if there is an intelligent creator of the universe, and there is evidence as objective that a prophet got a revelation from that entity, then it becomes binding. Why? Because then what it says is true, absolutely true by default, right? So we have to abide by it, because if there is consequences, it will happen. And if there is reward, it will happen, right? So that's our view as Muslims. Let's first examine the claim. Is it from God? If it's from God, we follow it. We have objective evidence. If it's not from God, we don't have to follow it, right? Simple as that. We're not saying to anyone, you have to become Muslim. Did I ever say that? No. What we're saying is look at the evidence. They're objective, they're convincing. Anyone who's open-minded and sincere like you, I believe you're very sincere, I believe you're open-minded. If the evidence you see that is objective, as I was describing it when you said very interesting, I can give you 27 predictions. Yeah, I just give you one or two. So there is a lot of. Yeah, I know. So can I give you just a video before you go? Can I put the video on YouTube on your phone? A video. I want to show you a video with predictions, because you don't have time for me to tell you the prediction. So you just watch it. It will give you the references and it will give you some of the predictions, right? Watch it. and then you come to your conclusion. But when you read the Quran, that's my advice, right? Quran, Allah says He does not reveal the Quran for us to read it. He read the Quran. He revealed the Quran for us specifically, obviously to read it. We read it, but to ponder on it, reflect. Meaning what? I read the verse and I say, what is God? Understand? Okay, yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent.
I hope so.
Excellent. That's excellent. I can see that you do. I can see that you do. So just take my point, which is watch these evidences that we're giving you. If they are true as we're saying they are, right? Then we follow where we find the truth, we follow it, right? Whether it was in Islam, I would. Whether in Christianity, I would. In Judaism, I would. It's not. The Quran says, do not just follow what you're born with. Chapter 5, verse 104. It says, do not just. What if your forefathers did not know? What if they were not guided? Don't just say, I'm born in this religion, therefore I follow it. That's why we study Christianity, we study Judaism, we study other religions as well. And we know what they believe because we're looking for the truth. We have to be objective and open-minded in approach to the truth. But once we reach the truth becomes binding on us. Because then this is our purpose. Then this is really what's objective, right and wrong, because it's coming from an objective source, right? It's coming from an all-wise, all-knowledgeable source. So I don't want to keep it for a long time. I'll just give you the videos. And... Sorry. It has the German, yeah? I'm saying it has the keyboard is German, yeah.
Bear in mind that God is also transcendent.
I do speak, yeah.
Which means that God is not, for example, formed by atoms. He created atoms. He created space. So when somebody asks me, for example, where is God, that is actually is wrong linguistically speaking, because the universe is space, time, and matter. As you, I'm sure, scientifically can.
We do believe Allah is above His creation, because being above your creation is an attribute of perfection, right? Someone being above is perfect than a being who's below, right? If I'm above someone, whether in status is Allah, not a human being, yeah?
It depends on how imperfect the creation is.
Yeah, 100%. So this is the video, right? It's in your phone. Whenever you have time, that's what it will give you references and it will give you the predictions. If they make sense, if you find them objective, and we're here, yeah? Any Sunday, come by, ask for us.
The problem is we go back to our home viewers.
What's the name of the video?
1 week.
It's a video on a channel called Many Prophets, One Message. The channel is called Many Prophets, One Message, yeah?
We have to go.
Yeah, 100%.
Very nice to meet you.
Do you have any material? Okay, no problem.
You're a good speaker.
I am not. I'm just a human being, that's it. I'm not a good speaker. I would say Dankeschön, but I'm not. Dankeschön, but I'm not. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for your time. It was a pleasure talking to both of you. Do you want my number if you have any questions, if you're not coming back? Do you want my number?
I will never.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, no problem.
It was
No,
very
text.
interesting.
Text. Would you text?
I will never.
Okay, that's okay. No problem.
Really.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm not texting
that's
a
okay.
lot with my friends
Yeah,
or
that's
family.
okay. No problem.
I know that for
This will
sure.
be on YouTube.
I'm just happy you allowed us to have this interaction. That's enough for me.
No,
Yeah.
that's-
And I hope we didn't say anything offensive. I apologize if we did. If we said anything offensive.
I hope so too.
No, you were completely. There's nothing
I
here.
try to be a nice guy.
We try as well. We try. Pleasure talking to you guys.
You did actually.
Thank you guys for your time.
This will
Sorry
be
to
on
stop you.
YouTube, so you can view it as well.
Yes,
This will be on
absolutely. After we close the cameras, you can ask me a question.
Some of the channels do Sam Da'wah. Just
Okay.
you have-
SAM.
Yes.
SAM. Can I
this
show you
one,
YouTube?
this one.
I'll just show him on his phone. It's easier. I'll just show him on his phone.
Sam?
Sam Da'wah.
Sam, yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Da'wah.
You can just write this
Sam
one.
Take a
Dawah or the
picture.
one?
Yeah, you can. Sorry? Dawah. Dawah in Arabic means invitation. It means invitation. The word da'wah means invitation. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah. So we're inviting people to Islam. That's what we do. We speak today. Yeah, that's what we do. We're inviting you as well
I'm
today.
proud being on YouTube. It's a first time.
Thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Yes. Yeah. I will discuss you. Come. Yeah. But there's separate videos, so I want to discuss with him private. Hello.
Oh, you're right, Sam.